to the Links Golf Club podcast, everybody, your weekly live show about our wonderful club and the world of golf. I'm Gregory, and I am joined by Cooper, Chris. We got Bossie down here. She's not dead. Cooper and Chris, how y'all feeling today? Good to see you.
Doing good. It's been a few weeks since I've been on the pod. Good to be back.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, super excited. We're going to talk about pro golf today a little bit. We're just going to check in on some Dunhill. Anytime you get to watch Carnoustie on TV, it's a good day. We're also going to talk about golf trips today, which I'm really excited. We got like a special episode talk about golf trips near home, far away. Cooper, how are you feeling? How's everything going this week?
Doing well, riding the highs and lows of the Dunhill, as well as the MLB this weekend, NFL. There's been Philadelphia is in a weird mood right now. The Eagles, the Phillies, we're not used to losing this much. So, ups and downs, right? But happy to be here with you guys talking about some golf. It's going to be a great week.
Much like Boston of the 21st century, it's good to see a city that has multi-sport success get knocked down a peg a little bit. Honestly, I think we have all been sort of waiting for it. Sorry, you live there. I'd love for that run to last forever, but you can't be good at everything. It's just not. It's not fair.
Yeah, you'll get no sympathy from us.
No, not at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The city of Buffalo has maybe the worst hockey franchise in the history of Earth, and the Bills continue to shoot themselves in the foot. So. Yeah. Also,
City of Atlanta has lost 2 hockey franchises since I've been alive. So
you're winning and losing hockey franchises for sure. I mean, I don't think maybe that happened like in the barnstorming days of the 20s, but I don't think that's happened in the modern age. Do we know why? Why? This is a complete sidebar, but Chris, they assess. Obviously, there's a desire to have Southern hockey teams, right? This is all pre-Nashville, right? The first ones. Was it just we want to have a hockey team in the South and Atlanta's the biggest city in the South? Or do you think they sat down and they were like, we think this can work and here's why, and then it just didn't work? What's the behind the scenes there? Because it's crazy that they've had 2 hockey teams in Boston.
I have no unique, inside info or anything, but I mean, I think it's it makes logical sense to have one in Atlanta, big market, big, catchment area for TV or whatever. And my guess would be a lot of the math is built on, they can share a stadium with, the NBA team there already. So, it makes economic sense plus the media dollars or whatever. But it's growing up in Atlanta, I mean, I don't know if you agree with this, kind of in Nashville or whatever else, but there was at least zero hockey undercurrent, so there's no built-in fan base. So I think it can succeed in Nashville if you aren't saturated with other pro sports teams, so you don't have football, baseball, basketball,
got it.
then plus all the college sports, then it can succeed, and it works with the Panthers or whatever else. But I just think it's tough to do that. Try and be the 5th team in a market, 6th team maybe if you count some of the college sports. It's a tough go when that's your starting point.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes logical sense to start.
I guarantee Progressive Hacks did not wake up this morning to tune into a podcast that his Atlanta Thrashers team would get catch strays, but they did have awesome alt logos. Cooper, what were you going to say?
I think we can tie this into golf because it's almost TGL season. And as expansion teams roll out, right, these are things they need to be considering, right? You don't want to oversaturate the TGL market. It's a really interesting development there as we play in the SoFi Center. Are there going to be more venues, right? We got to think about this.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten of why won't you talk about the TGL more, you cowards? The TGL bots are out there, and it's just I'm really excited that you brought it up because I know how top of mind it is to everybody.
Yeah, what's the dynamic going to be like this season between Rory and Keegan on the same team post Ryder Cup, right? There's a lot of drama that I think is going to unfold at the SoFi Center.
Yeah, Keegan's really showing that he's going to focus, if he wants to be the captain in Ireland, by being both part of TGL and the Skins game. Yeah, clearly he's going to be the next captain.
Skins game. I'm stoked for that. That's gonna.
I'm
be
so
great.
excited. We should talk about that. It's going to be somewhat like I've watched every single one that they've shown they have on YouTube, and I hope that they show more now that it's coming back out. I'm actually surprised there aren't more. It's not something that I really ever remember watching as a kid, but I remember my dad talking very fondly about it, and it's just a really fun format. There's one that's like 2.5 hours long that has an older Nicholas and a much older Arnie, a young Tom Watson, and then what's the South African? Why am I blanking on the South African golfer who's doesn't matter?
Ernie Els.
Thank you. So it was the four of them, Gary Player, the fourth, and they were playing in Arizona. And it was a blast. Like, it was really fun to watch. All right, so that's enough witty banter for today. Let's talk about some housekeeping. Chris, I think you're going to talk us through our lovely friends over at Golf Breaks. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, let's talk about Golf Breaks. Also, I love how before the show we're talking about, oh, it's a slower news week, you know, is
the longest pre-roll we've ever had.
We can't even get through the intro. There's too much stuff to talk about. But let's talk about Golf Breaks.
Yeah.
They've been a great partner of ours for years now. Primary objective is saving golfers time and money when it comes to organizing their golf vacations, providing hassle-free trip planning, putting together the itineraries so you don't have to deal with any of the details, expert travel advice, and guaranteed prices with no additional booking fees. I've just learned today they've sent over 3 million golfers on trips worldwide, which is kind of wild. So they're some of the best in the game. They've been great partners of ours. As always, the Links members can continue to save up to $2,000 on a golf trip with Golf Breaks. Incredible member benefit we have here. You can check out all the details of that in our member clubhouse. They've also, I guess this serves as an announcement right now, but they've also put together specific packages specifically for people going over to Spey Bay. So like if you're, hey, I want to go visit Spey Bay next year, but I want to tack on some other great courses. They've actually built out itineraries specifically for that, covering the Inverness, Aberdeen, and Fife regions that include, you know, bucket list courses like Royal Dornoch, Royal Aberdeen, Cruden Bay, Carnoustie, you know, all the spots you would want to hit. So really great setup there. So, you know, for all of our Links folks, Spey Bay folks, you can go and check out the specific itineraries they have for that. Thinking about some golf trips for next year. We're going to be talking some golf trips today. So really awesome stuff that they have going for Links members. And they're also generously sponsoring our signature event at the Tree Farm, which I know we talked about a bit last week, but every attendee is going to get $200 Golf Breaks voucher along with their tee gift. One lucky attendee is going to get a $2,000 Golf Breaks voucher. So talk about some overseas golf trip planning. That would go a long ways for putting together an awesome trip for next year. So really excited to have them sponsoring that event. It's our last signature event of the year. You know, one of the kind of most talked about new courses in the country, the Tree Farm in Aiken, South Carolina, Zach Blair's brainchild. Very excited to see it later today, later this year, rather. Wish it was later today. But so if you're interested in
there,
that,
let's go.
yeah, just hop on a plane. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Just go see it. Not play it, just go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you're interested, check out linksdow.io/events. You can see all the other great events that we've had this year, plus see more detail on the Tree Farm event, which we've got coming up. Still a few spots remaining. If you're thinking about taking advantage of that, plus the awesome sponsorship from Golf Breaks. And if you're thinking about trip planning for next year, thinking about what you might want to put together for a Scotland trip or, you know, US trip or really anywhere, make sure to check out Golf Breaks in the clubhouse. You can follow the links there. See everything about the Links member discounts, the different itineraries they offer, all of that good stuff. So we wanted to give them some love. They've been great partners so far, and, you know, really excited about getting this going for next year too when we start thinking about Spey Bay events.
For sure. Thank you, Chris, for taking that through with us. Cooper, what ideas, thoughts, announcements, updates do you have in your corner here?
Yeah, really stoked about Tree Farm and Golf Breaks. I think that's awesome, and they've been one of our best partners. Everybody who goes on a golf break trip loves it. We have, in addition to our signature events, we have community member hosted events as well. We've had some great ones in New York, New Jersey. Mr. Senor is hosting at Sweetens Cove again this fall. Really looking forward to all of those. And we're spinning up some stuff in the South for this winter, and perhaps very, very South. If you're in the Discord, you might know what we're talking about on that front. But if you're looking to host a member event, get out with some Links members. Let us know in the Discord. Let us know in the comments. We'll hook you up with your regional chat. It's a great way to get out and play some golf, especially as we hit this crisp fall golf season. Super good stuff there. And then shout out to Chris's hat. We have the Links Millionaire drawing. So if you are in the Discord and have your wallet connected and you're holding 1 million Links coin or more, we're going to be drawing for some prizes, including Links hats, golf balls. In the past, we've done a free round of golf. So you never know what you're going to get. Definitely get your links, collect them, and hop into the Discord for that reward drawing. It's going to be a good one. The next one is going to be on the 15th. So looking forward to that with you all. But yeah, pop in, check out the regional chats. Lots of stuff going on this week. But most excitingly was some cool golf in Scotland. Greg,
Can I say one thing? Yeah. I just want to say one thing for just I'm catching some shade in the comments right now about a couple episodes ago where I said that I take 50 grams of creatine a day. And I just want to say again, I've already apologized for doing the math wrong on that. So let's cut it out. Number two, I did want to also use this time to say that a couple months ago, this is also a hands up situation. I thought Jane Goodall was dead. She actually did die in the past week. So RIP Jane Goodall. Just
you did call that.
I know.
Which is weird.
I did. No. I didn't call it. I didn't say she was going to die. I just thought she was dead. And then she did actually pass away. So, RIP Jane Goodall. I'm sure she was important to all of us as we were younger. She's a legend. Also, like, I'm not making this political, but on her way out, apparently she did like a video of all the people she hated, which I'm absolutely going to do on my way out. And some of the people in the comments might make it that way if you keep talking shit on the 50-gram creatine thing, Chris. All right. Anyway, golf. Dunhill Championship was the first thing I want to talk about. DP World Tour event. Anytime we have an opportunity to watch a Links golf course on TV, we're going to take it. Obviously, in the fall, football season's happening. There's playoff baseball. Everything else is coming up. But it is a chance to watch a little bit of coffee golf, which we had earlier in the year. And it's at Carnoustie, which I'm sure all of us love. So just a couple of points here, then I'll leave it to you.
Wait, am I crazy? I thought it was at the old course. Am I messing this up?
Was it
the old St. Andrews?
Okay, phew. Speaking of hands up situations, Greg, geez.
So what's the difference in the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship, which was at Carnoustie October 2nd through the 5th that Robert MacIntyre won?
Or maybe I'm messing it up.
It was at the old course.
You're wrong. What?
I'm very sure about this. I saw the stands going up in
I was
person.
watching him play 18. I'm pretty sure.
Why the hell? I mean, obviously I didn't. All right. So again, third thing. Yeah, Chris, you're on the list. Thank you, Depressive Hacks. Keep track of that. Obviously I didn't watch it because I was not paying attention. My wife came in town after not seeing her for a while. I know y'all did. So yeah, this is great pro golf content. This is why we do it. But the internet was way wrong. Okay, St. Andrews. It is true that Robert MacIntyre won. So Big Shot Bob did get this one. There's no strokes gained data, so there's really nothing to talk about from that standpoint. But yeah, apparently Bob was the first Scot to win the Dunhill since 2005, which is kind of wild to me. Low American was Koepka. I mean, I don't trust any of the things I'm about to say, even though I thought I did the research here, but apparently Koepka was T15.
Can't believe everything you read on the internet.
P. Reed made an appearance at T32, and Tony Finau, who, as far as I can tell, is the only live American golfer who was over there. I don't know why he was over there, but he
Dustin Johnson.
That's a live guy, though. So
this is
it makes
Carnoustie.
sense.
Wait, what is this?
So this is what I'm saying, why it's confusing, because I think there's two Dunhills.
We've got it in the comments. They're helping us out here. They play multiple courses across the event.
All right. So I take back my apology.
We're all right.
Wally,
we're all wrong. We're all right.
Wally, for anyone keeping track at home, Wally's off the list. Depressive Half is off the list. Chris is back on the list again after already being there. Okay, so they played. They took their own trip. This is a Golf Breaks, connection, and they took their own trip. Great. What do y'all have to say about this? Because apparently I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Good insertion of the Golf Breaks plug, because you can in fact go play Carnoustie and Kingsbarns as part of the itineraries that you can tack onto a Spey Bay trip next year.
Kingsbarns sucks, by the way. I'm gonna ride hard for that.
Great tie-in. My main takeaway was I just love how Bob MacIntyre just seems to show up when events come to Scotland. It's such a good home course advantage, link style advantage. He's got the home crowd after him. The Scottish Open, I forget if it was this year or last year he won. Like, he just seems to show up, which is fun. It's like you love to see it, even if it's whatever. It's not like the biggest event, best field that he's going against this past week or whatnot. Still fun to see.
Yeah, super great. And again, I mean, Jamie Kennedy shouted out late season golf in October. These guys are playing short par fours and still taking like 2 or 3 shots into the wind to get onto the green. It's windy, rainy, cold, but an awesome challenge to play these courses. Just can't recommend the style of golf enough, and it's really, really fun to watch, but even more fun to play. So if you're looking to get over there and hit some of these, you can make that a reality a lot easier than you probably think, especially if you're a Links member with Spey Bay and Golf Breaks and all of that. But I think fun to watch. Bobby Mack, nothing, gets me going more than his applauding Spawn at the US Open, right? He just seems like such a good guy. So happy to see him pull this one off.
One of the other interesting things about this one, and I won't pretend to have kept up with all the ins and outs of like Live PGA, DP World Tour, how it all fits in or whatever, but this is like one of the, outside of the majors, this is one of the unique chances to actually watch some Live players, some top Live players compete against some, at least, top PGA or DP World Tour players. So Brooks was there, Louis Oosthuizen, some of these other guys, and playing there in the field with Bobby MacIntyre and others. So it's not like it's a signature event or kind of elevated event field, but it's still cool to see and get at least a little check-in on like, okay, Tyrrell Hatton got solo second, his game, how they stand up right outside of the Ryder Cup, which is obviously kind of a different beast in and of itself.
Yeah, and shout out the entire country of Australia. Jasper Stubbs was plus 22 at the end of this, which one of my favorite things to do when looking at an event is look at who got last. Plus 22 is wild. Anything else on the Dunhill before we move on to?
I'm not throwing any shade at plus 22 because I would have done a lot worse than that.
That's, I think, exactly.
Props to you, Jasper Stubbs.
I think I did only slightly better than that in one round at the old course when I was there. I flew it not only over the hotel at the road hole, but over the hotel at the road hole off to the right. So I think it was Hatton had like a really nice birdie on that hole, or Shane Lowry, right? It was just like, that's such a hard course to play and play well, and especially in those conditions. I had like a great day. So, plus 22, good job. Eat your heart out.
You were just depositing a Spey Bay logo ball on the roof for history and posterity's sake.
Chris, I'm excited to tell you that it was not a Links or Spey Bay logo ball. So if it did break any glass, we're not going to get any phone calls or invoices in the mail. So
good.
Yeah, not going to be a problem for us.
That's good. All right. Well, I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about the Sanderson Farms champions. So, Chris, you are our Sanderson Farms Championship maxi here. Why don't you walk us through what happened?
I guess so. I wasn't watching every second of it, but I do feel this is one of the rare southern events outside of like, you know, Florida. Obviously Florida's like a different thing, and then there's obviously there's Augusta and, you know, the Masters, and there's Harbor Town after that. But like of the deep south, you know, there's really no PGA Tour presence outside of occasional visits to Atlanta, and then there's the Sanderson Farms. So it's kind of unique in that regard. It's spot on the schedule sucks, right? It's like the worst time to try and host a big time event, which is a bummer, especially this year right after the Ryder Cup, right? But it is cool to see. I think different market, different, you know, just kind of course, and everything. And they had a solid field this year, but it is like one of the biggest things this year is that it's, I think, the Sanderson Farms last year of sponsorship. So very, very likely that it's not going to be there next year. And, you know, there won't be any presence in the deep South, non-Florida, non-Texas edition, which is a bummer. Because, you know, you get some cool stories like Stephen Fisk winning, who's, you know, I don't think many people would say they've heard of him, but, you know, kind of a classic story of this guy who's grinded his entire career, had, you know, this crazy hand condition, bunch of surgeries, didn't know if he could ever play again. And then, you know, finds himself winning a PGA Tour event, getting a bunch of exemptions. Like, those are awesome stories. They're very cool to see.
That's the best part about events like this, for sure. Like, it is absolutely life-changing to win one of these events.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I know like Monday Q on Twitter, on X, you know, follows a bunch of these stories. He's a great follow, by the way, looking for some of that content. But it's very cool to see some of those types of like underdog stories week in and week out. They don't tend to draw the big TV audiences. And so, you know, there's pull towards the more signature events and limited fields and all that stuff. But, you know, this is the kind of stuff they use. These are cool stories, very kind of emotional stories that play out some of these weeks, which is always cool to see.
Agreed. I know you put in here about I actually did see this, and it was one of the more wild sort of mini rules things I've ever seen. Can you walk us through what happened in this fairway bunker when the two balls were next to each other?
Yeah, I didn't see this live, but I caught up on it after. But it is, you know, I don't know what the odds are, but some absurd number for two balls that actually end up touching in a fairway bunker, which is wild. But yeah, so that if I remember correctly, the ruling was, so they were touching. So they let, I think it's whichever ball, I think it was Garrett Higgo's ball came in second. They had him move it a club length and place it away from the original ball. Maybe I'm mixing up the guys, but I think he was moving it away from Eric Cole's ball so that the first guy could play, and he got to, I think, mark it and place it outside of the divot or whatever that was created. But yeah, that was wild. I could not have told you what the ruling was for that one off the top of my head. No way. So they got to move apart from each other to actually play the next shots. But yeah, wild. I've never seen that happen before.
It's one of the first times in these like ruling situations, which I think both players legitimately had no idea. Like, usually the players are trying to squeeze out as much favorability from a rules official as possible because they know the rule. It's like on Monday night when the Chiefs ran that pick at the 1 yard line, they knew exactly that it wasn't going to be offensive. Like, that's why they're the best coach offensive team in the NFL, because they knew exactly what they were doing, even though they picked up the flag. That's usually what happens, PGA Tour players. But here they're just like, I don't know, like, Jesus, take the wheel, rules official, tell us what to do. And I was actually curious, what happens if the rules official is wrong? Like, if the rules official gives the wrong ruling in real time, does that just completely give them a what's it called, pardon later on as being assessed a stroke, or is it still on the player?
I would hope so for their sake, but I have no clue. I mean, you would think they're, you know, I guess they have the right to call in for a second opinion, and you see them do that. And I guess there's an argument that, you know, the player has to be responsible for their own, you know, their own scoring or whatever. But you would hope that if they're directed by an actual official, with a certain ruling, like that's good to go, you know.
Okay.
But
couldn't
tell you. I'm not that much of an expert.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Anything else on Sanderson?
I did want to shout out to, I saw this post that his driver is a Mizuno $300 club head, and he won the tournament with that. And just, you know, for all the gear maxis out there getting the, you know, $600, $800 drivers built out, I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter what you're hitting if your swing looks that good and you're a professional golfer. But just goes to show you, it's not all about the price tag on the club. I thought that was really cool to see. Not only that he won the tournament, but that he did it with some gear that you can go out and get for half the price of a brand new Titleist or Callaway.
One of us.
Yes.
Well, let's move into this sort of trip segment here. The main thing I'm trying to get out of this is sort of where some good places are to take golf trips. That's the simplest thing, right? And so I came up with these categories because if I ever went to graduate school again, I guess I went once, but if I went again, I'd write a thesis on the following topic: that you can compare quality of things within their own categories. What I mean by that is, think about Mexican food, okay? There are high-end Michelin star Mexican restaurants. There's street food. There's fast casual like Chipotle. There's fast food like Taco Bell. You have these different categories, and there can be good and bad within categories, right? So you can't say that in a vacuum necessarily the worst high-end Mexican restaurant is worse than the best fast food restaurant, because you kind of have to compare them as equals. So I'm trying to do the same thing here with golf trips, and I want to look at, number one, staycation. So you can define that sort of however you want, but I'm defining that as it needs to be less than an hour's drive, right? So let's say maybe you can still stay in a different place than your house, or maybe you stay at your house, but it's somewhere around you. If you either wanted to or have done a staycation golf trip, I want to hear from you on that. The second thing is an easy drive trip. So like 3 to 6 hours, something like that, where you're not getting on a plane. Still, maybe you're taking a foursome, you know, it's up to you on the budget, but it's somewhere close by. Then I want a budget flight trip. So like strap style, you're trying to save as much money as possible, but you're going somewhere else to play. Then a splurge flight trip. So this could either be one you've done or one you want to do. Money's not an option, you know, unlimited budget to do that. It still needs to be something you can access, though. And then one international trip. And again, it could be something you've already done or want to do, or both. So to get us started here, staycation-wise, I'm already kind of, you know, screwing my rules up, but like I have two options here. One is Park Mammoth in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I would spend a weekend there. Now it's 89 miles away from my house, but if I drove 90 miles per hour, I could get there in under an hour. So if that was considered a staycation, it's, you know, just over the Kentucky line. And I could easily play 3 days of golf there. It is, you can pay by the day. It's an 18-hole golf course, opened a couple years ago. They now have a par 3 golf course, and it's really affordable. I think you pay like $120 and you can play as much golf as you want all day. You can use a putting green, you can use a par 3 course, you can use a full 18 course, and it is a fantastic golf course for the money. If you don't allow me to do that, then I would just play at my home club, and I would stay somewhere. It's like 25 minutes away from my house. I just stay somewhere up there, and I would wake up very early. I'd have breakfast. I'd stay there all day. I'd have dinner, and I'd do that 3 days, and just play as much golf as possible there. So that'd be my staycation option. What about y'all?
Help me narrow it down, because I have a couple options on this one. Should I think about this as if I'm just creating what I would view as the optimal staycation trip, either gone on it or haven't gone on it, no restrictions, public or private, or I should think of it as public for this category?
I think it should be centered on you to depress the facts and your question. It should be based on where you live right now, and it should be places that you can access. And let's assume that we're taking 4 people on all these, right? So it's got to be you plus 3 people you can get on the golf course. and it needs to be within an hour of where you live.
Got it. Okay. Well, and I think the spirit of this one is more public courses that you can just drive up and, go visit or whatever. So that makes a ton of sense. So for me, I think I would go, and I'm going to go with courses that I haven't actually played yet, just thinking of what I might go do this next year. But I have never played Pound Ridge, which I know
Pound
you
Ridge
guys
is
have
awesome.
played and like, and is pretty close to me. So I know that's like
So
a unique one. You hear kind of polarizing opinions about it, but would be cool to see. Definitely driving distance. And I think I would tack on, I haven't done the math on this, it may be outside of the driving distance just barely, but there's Sullivan County Golf Club, which is the Tom Coyne, kind of rebuild they're doing over there. It's upstate New York, just outside of the city. So I think I'd tack those two together into a weekend driving trip that would make for a fun staycation, and see a couple of different styles of courses, different geographies, and one newer one older one, but would make for a fun weekend.
Love it. Coop, what about you?
Muted. In the spirit of this, right, living in Philly, I won't say the stay and play, experience at Pine Valley, which is like fingers crossed. It's my white whale. Maybe one day. But for public, I think one that I haven't done yet to do that would probably be the Jersey Shore. Atlantic City. There's some really cool courses down there, Union League National, which I may be able to get on for like an event or something like that. And some really good courses in that South Jersey area versus like the super exclusive private stuff in and around Philly.
Okay, cool. Love it. If you haven't yet, drop yours. I see some of y'all put yours in there, especially for your staycation. We'll grab all those. Oh, Reynolds Lake, is that, how do you say that, Wally? Oconee? I assume that's nearby Atlanta. Oconee. All right. That's another thing I'm going to have to apologize for later. All right. Let's talk about easy drives. This one, let's say 3 to 6 hours. I'll start with mine. I'd grab a group of 4 people. We'd go to East Tennessee. I talk about it all the time. We'd play Swanee, Sweetens, Lookout Mountain. Obviously it's private, but hopefully have some ways to get on that. And then Macklemore. Macklemore is the furthest away from me. It's a good center location between Atlanta, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Nashville, Lexington. So you could get a bunch of people there, and all those courses are pretty close by. You can get a centrally located cabin, and you can do it for pretty cheap, and definitely on a weekend. I've done 3 of these 4 in a weekend, and I would definitely look to do 4 for next chance I had. So East Tennessee is my kind of favorite place to be in general in the world, and definitely becoming more and more of a place that I love to play golf into. What about y'all?
Yeah, some great spots there too. I find this one tough because it totally depends on how you define the category, because whatever, starting from the New York City area, you probably have 50% of the top 100 list on within 6 hours or whatever. But trying to come up with something more unique or like a regional specific thing within that, I think I would go for a Boston area, or Massachusetts and Rhode Island area trip. Little longer drive for me, but it's also an area that I just have not played at all. And there's a ton of great courses there. And there's so many old Donald Ross spots, and just kind of cool seaside courses, Newport, Waikama. There's just a ton right there that you could put together. You probably come up with a million different combinations of great itineraries for a weekend trip there. So no I guess specific ones on my mind, but you've got Old Sandwich, which Corin Crenshaw course is supposed to be fantastic. Newport,
George Wright,
kind of old
people say George
course.
Wright is awesome outside of Boston.
Yeah. Great Muni. Yep, that's right. I think Boston Golf Club, I want to say, Gohance course. So you've got like some newer, more modern options. You've got a bunch of old Donald Ross courses and some more historic ones. A bunch of those obviously private, so you have to find a way on or whatever, but that would make for a really good trip and all, pretty easily co-located. So you could do it in a weekend, which I think would be a ton of fun to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like Boston's probably one of those places that you could do a Scottish style trip in that you just go to a region and figure it out, right? And hopefully, I mean, obviously there's less public stuff that you'd want to see, but I like it. Coop, what about you?
Yeah, this reminds me, first of all, of the meme of Europeans being like, "You're going to drive 6 hours for something." It's like called an easy drive. It's in that category. We're so spoiled in Philly.
You've done a circle around Scotland in that time period.
Yeah, I've gone from Paris to like Prague, right, in that period of time.
Yeah, the European mind can't comprehend
the fact that I can be in North Carolina or Boston in 6 hours. So I would probably say like a Long Island trip, potentially some up into that Connecticut, New York border region. I've done Pound Ridge before, but I think that some of that Long Island golf I haven't gotten to experience yet would be really, really cool. And that's right on the cusp of the 3 hours. Depressive is recommending Fenwick up there in Connecticut. I think there's some cool courses and options up there. Lots of links buddies in that region as well to link up with. And then the one that I wouldn't recommend is Erie. That's a long drive to nowhere. Do not take
Erie catching shade too, man. Atlanta Thrashers.
Hacks was chiming in on the Discord on our Instagram recently about me shooting even par at the front nine at Erie, and after an 8-hour drive or whatever. So I wanted to give him the shout out on that club.
Nice. Very much like, yeah, I mean, Long Island would be great too, because you could play, I mean, this might be some more sicko shit, but like you could play red, green, yellow, blue, like which I think like I would absolutely want to do if I was just in Long Island. I just want to play all those courses. I know that they're not great. Red is, I think, unimpeachably great, but the other ones not so much. But then there's a bunch of World Vantage stuff on there you could play, right? Like you got some access on Long Island. I like it. All right, moving on here. Budget flight trip. So this is kind of the strat version. I'll give you my example, and this is one that I have already done. I have a lot that I'd want to do, but I won't talk through all of those now. This, I think, is the golf trip that I most like. And I actually did this for my bachelor party. Went to Austin, Texas. I think this is one of the best places to do it, although it's not as obviously cheap as other places that you could go to nowadays. But you have Butler Pitch and Putt, which is one of the great golf courses in the world. It's basically Dornick, maybe Portrush, and then Butler Pitch and Putt. There's also a lot of great munis in Austin. You got Lions, Kaiser, Morris, Riverside. And you have, some great architects like Riverside was, God, man, my brain, I'm blanking on who did Prairie Dune. Perry Maxwell did Riverside. So you get to see some like cool architects doing public golf. Like any muni, it's varied on quality, but you're there for budget. And, you do have to plan ahead. It's sometimes hard to get tee times. But then you also have other great public courses like Avery Ranch, Star Ranch, Wolf Dancer, Grey Rock. Not to mention all the Omni stuff, which can be a little bit harder to get on and more expensive. So, yeah, I mean, get a really cheap Airbnb in Austin and go to Butler Pitch and Putt 3 days, and then play 18 holes at one of the munis, 18 holes at one of the nicer public courses, and maybe 18 holes at one of the other ones, and eat a bunch of barbecue and Mexican food and drink at cheap bars, and you got yourself a golf trip. So that would be mine. What about y'all?
Like that one. I think for this one, this is a little bit of like a nostalgic pick, I guess, but I grew up in Atlanta and I never did the Robert Trent Jones Trail through Alabama. And I think that would make a great one, which would be a flight for me now, but and I guess I don't know specific greens fees for all the courses. Maybe some of them are more expensive, but you could do, it's such a high concentration of really solid golf courses. You can make a short or a long trip out of it. There's so much to play there. And I never got around to doing it when I was living close by. So I've always kind of had that on the list to do someday, which I think would be fun.
Muscle Shoals would be Muscle Shoals in Florence, which is like the northest extension of that. You could definitely, I've done it. You can definitely spend a weekend there. There's good food. You also have like Fame recording studio and like all the music stuff there, and they have 2 courses. But yeah, retweet on Robert Trent Jones. It is reasonably priced compared to the quality of the golf, but I think the price does continue to go up. But you can drive around and there's a lot of good stuff, especially around Birmingham.
Yeah. RTJ sounds like a really great trip. That's really cool. I want to compartmentalize this because I don't want to sleep on Myrtle because I've been there before, and I would highly recommend as like the bachelor party. Like you can take a Spirit or Southwest Airlines flight there for no money, and then rentals are cheap. And then the cool part about Myrtle Golf too is you've got the Mike Strand's Caledonia, True Blue, like top 100 public golf courses there as an option for a little bit of like, your Keystone round. But also if you're going with some buddies who are, shooting in the hundreds, there are a dozen decent courses that you can get on for $30 and just play and have a really good time and just spend all day going to the beach, going to the golf course, hanging out in the sun, eating some southern food. Myrtle's a cool one for that. I don't know if this kind of falls into the budget trip or the splurge trip below, but like I really want to do Michigan, like northern Michigan, play some of those courses, right? And so like depending on airfare and hotels and kind of what options you go with, that would be my like not too far from the eastern seaboard, but go for it with playing some of those great courses that I see so many cool posts of in the summer in the Great Lakes.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good segue to, I think you can probably do it both ways, but it's probably a splurge trip. At least the one that I have in my head is I think Michigan probably is top of my list. I obviously really want to do Sand Valley. I want to do Bandon. There's like a whole range of those trips. I lived in Northern California for a while. I didn't play golf, so I didn't play really any of those golf courses. There's obviously like the Pebbles and the whatever. But I think Northern Michigan is probably like, I'd want to go to Ann Arbor and I'd want to play the university course there. It's an Alistair McKenzie. Then I'd want to definitely make my way up to Traverse City and all points in between and play golf around there. And then, you have even in the kind of the southwest area of the state, New Buffalo, you have Mike Kaiser's first course, which is private, but I hear if you're really nice and tip the caddy really well, they might let you out there. It's a 9-hole course. So I think Michigan, Coop, to your point, is definitely on my list. I think the only other one that I put on there is Sand Valley because I just really want to go there, and it's obviously a really expensive trip, but I think that'd be really fun. And then I have done Stream Song. We have been to Cabot, Citrus. We did a preview event there last year. And Stream Song is great. Stream Song is like absolutely worth the trip. It's, like anything else, it's expensive, but it is, you feel pampered, right? Like you check in, they take all your stuff, they get it where it needs to go. There's 30 restaurants or whatever. I think there's 5 or 7, and then a bunch of golf courses, all done by world-class architects. So Stream Song is great, but I think my desire would be to get up to Michigan in the next 365 days for sure.
Yeah, the splurge flight trip piece was tough for me because I've been to woefully few of the like resort, like golf destination resorts, right? I've never been to Bandon, never been to Sand Valley. Only played one of the Stream Song courses and didn't stay there. We've been to some of the Cabot properties, but there's a half dozen I haven't been to. There's like too many options. There's too many options. But if I think I was forced to pick one, I'd go to Bandon just because it's, obviously there's a ton of golf. There's so much written about it or kind of shared knowledge amongst everyone that's been there, has been around the longest. So, and I've never experienced it. And obviously would be a great experience, would be an awesome trip to make. So, we'll get there one day. It seems like almost too much of an easy answer, right? Like it's kind of like the stock answer for a great golf trip.
Boring.
But, I know. But if I'm being honest with myself, that's where I'd put, at the top of the list for a big one. I have to book it 3 years out, but other than that.
Sure. Yeah. I think Bandon's really cool. They've built 3 or 4 courses since the last time I was there. So I let me know if you're booking that 3 years out, Chris. I'll hop on that one with you. Let's do the Solstice at Bandon. can't skip Spade Bay for that actually, but it looks cool what they do there. And I think there's a discount if you play additional courses in the same day. You pay like 50% less each 18 that you play per day. So like we've been training for this, for 2 years now. We're ready. I would say, you put it in the notes here, if money was no object, right? I think Pebble Beach and, try to get on the Monterey Peninsula courses and go out there. That would be like awesome. I had the opportunity to play Pasatiempo, Presidio, Golden Gate Park, like that Northern California coastal stretch. I want to play Northwoods. That just looks like such an awesome time, but center it on Pebble. Versus some of the other hyper expensive. I think I saw the list of like the winter rates for public top 100 courses in the US, and everything is like $800.
Or Shadow Creek, more. And it's like 1,700 or whatever.
Right. I mean, and then you're in Vegas, and there's, there's lots of
downside.
What else are you gonna do? So I would definitely say Pebble is probably at the top of my remaining bucket list ones for that. But I think the Sand Valley, Lido kind of options also look really, really cool.
Okay, love it. I think Northern California would be one that, like, flying to SFO. And again, this is money is no option. Doesn't mean that I have this money, but like someone drives you, go to Berkeley, go to Chez Panisse, go through Napa, go to French Laundry, end up at Pasatiempo and Pebble, and play all Spyglass and Spanish Bay and everything, which I think is closing for a period of time. But and then not to mention all the private stuff in San Francisco. Like I just desperately want to play Olympic Club and Cal Club. Right. So all right, international trip. One I have done is Highlands, which I will continue to do, and I will play as much golf in the Highlands of Scotland as possible. Obviously, Spade Bay is there, but things like Cullen, Royal Aberdeen, there's other stuff in Aberdeen I want to play. Cruden Bay, I haven't played Royal Aberdeen. I haven't played Trump Aberdeen. I still haven't played Murray. I still haven't played Castle Stewart. And I still haven't played like Brora and Nairn. So there's a bunch of golf courses in the Highlands that I want to go back to do, but I think it's like one of the best one of the best pound for pound trips you can take in Scotland. You can fly into Aberdeen or Inverness and just spend time there. And I love it. I do want to spend more time in Fife. I've only been to St. Andrews once. I did not play golf in St. Andrews. We played Kingsbarns, played Dumbarnie. But I want to play Ely. I want to play, go up to Carnoustie. I want to play obviously the old course. I want to check out all that stuff. I want to go down to Berwick. I want to play, Muirfield. There's a bunch of golf in that kind of Fife, Edinburgh, and points in between space that I would like to go to. And then just other kind of honorable mentions. I really want to go to Australia and play the courses there. I just think, for an international trip perspective, that would be definitely on the list. And then, like, more personal to me, I want to play golf in China. There's like north of Shenzhen, there's I think 11 golf course resort, all done by like famous world golfers. And I'd want to just go there, play all of them, and then eat a bunch of good food and hang out. So those would be my international trips. What do you all got?
It sounds like a Golf Breaks Spade Bay plus another region itinerary is in your future, man. Hit Fife.
Yeah, for sure.
Inverness, you get Nairn and Castle Stewart. You got it all lined up, man.
Why not me? Why not?
Yeah. There, I just want to state for the record that you just picked 3 trips in one category. I just want to throw that out there for
I said honorable mentions. I said the one that I recommend is Highlands. The ones that I want to do is Fife, and then my honorable mentions are Australia and China.
I like that.
Stop adding to my apologies list.
Yeah. So if the prompt is what's your dream international golf trip, it's definitely Australia and New Zealand. Because there's so many great, like, just from looking at the pictures, like mind-blowing courses that are, of course, a long ways away for us sitting here in the US. So it's like that would, if we were able to do that at any point in the future, that's like the bucket list thing for me for sure. Because obviously it's a bigger trip and, you know, requires a significant chunk of time and a lot of planning and everything else. But there's just so much between, you know, like the Tara Iti, Tara courses, like everything in New Zealand. Plus you've got so much like old school stuff in Australia, like Royal Melbourne, plus the newer stuff like Cape Wickham from our buddy Mike DeVries and everything else. You could just do so much. You could spend like a month there just going and traveling around and, playing basically like a great well-round course every day. So that's, if I had to pick one, that's definitely it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for stealing my choice, which is Royal Melbourne Cape Kidnappers, right? Like knock me out for the flight, throw me in the hold with my golf clubs and then just wake up and play all the golf I could play after traveling that long. And I agree. Like if you're going to do that, it's such a long flight. It's not a weekend, you can't spend half your time in the air, like go and spend some time and probably do Australia and New Zealand. I mean, I would really highly recommend, of course, the Scotland trip. I saw in the chat the Dominican Republic, Casa de Campo, really cool. Caribbean golf, not too hard to get to from the States. Great winter getaway to do that. Since the Southern Hemisphere ones are taken already, I'm probably going to go with a Canada, a closer to home tour, which would be Cabot on the cliffs.
Cape Breton,
Cape Breton. And then I really want to do like the Banff, Fairmount, the Mac Boucher, like mountains over the fairways kind of trip. I think that would be super cool. Some mountain golf, and save some money on airfare to stay in that sweet hotel.
Yeah, and a new Cabot property coming out that direction as well. Revelstoke. I believe I pronounced that right. So
you could just do the Cabot tour, take me to St. Lucia cliffs and then Banff, and that would be, the dream out of state right now.
Love it. All right. Well, I think we got some good ideas here. And I was just looking at Golf Breaks. This was not by design, but a lot of these show up on Golf Breaks site. So if you haven't checked that out, if you're been on the fence about coming to Tree Farm, obviously Chris walked us through some of the advantages from Golf Breaks there. Thank you, Golf Breaks, for sponsoring this episode. But that's it for the week. Appreciate everyone turning in. Thanks for being active in the comments. Thanks for checking us out on any platform that you checked us. We're everywhere now. We're all over the place. And remember, check out Hillcrest memberships. Check out Instagram, YouTube. Any updates on what's happening in the club, you can check us out there and see those things as they come. Make sure you subscribe so that you can see when we go live and when we post longer form content on YouTube. Hit us up with Discord with guest ideas, hot takes, or feedback. Follow the pod, leave a review, and we'll see you next time. Appreciate Chris and Cooper. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all.
Bye, y'all.